Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. Uh, Welcome to another live stream with me and Adam. And we're doing another album exchange. Only we're missing two members of the group. Uh, oh, and we have Adam's dog is here as well, um, barking her opinions. Um, yeah, normally we do these album exchange. We haven't done one in a while. It's been several months. We've been trying to plan doing this album exchange, but every month it just hasn't worked out because there's four of us, me, Adam, and then Nick and Bryer. Um, and speaking of Nick, Nick's on here. He's watching a football game. um, yeah, so usually Nick and Breyer's on here, and the four of us talk about four different albums that the four of us pick for our group to listen to and then review on the channel. Uh, but it's just been getting really hard trying to get all four of us together. All of our schedules to sync in is kind of hard. So we kind of decided that we would split it up into two different groups. One will be me and Adam doing it on my channel. We're gonna review all four albums that we have in the group, and then also check out Nick's Townsend 505 channel. When Nick and Bryer at some point will also review the same four albums that we're reviewing today as part of the group. So you have to watch my channel and Nick's channel if you want to get all four of our opinions on these four albums. But at least right now you get our two opinions on these albums that we have anyway. So yeah, sorry, I haven't introduced Adam. Adam, how are you doing?
That's right. You hear my dog barking in the background. But yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm doing pretty good. I'm looking forward to doing this. It's been a while since we were
Wow.
ready to do this.
Yeah, I hate that it's just been so hard getting everybody together. Plus, with the holiday, it makes it even harder getting together because we all kind of took off during the holidays and didn't really do any live streams. And so we're just now getting back. This is my first live streams in the new year. And I did one video yesterday. It was my first video of the year. So now we're kind of getting back into the swing of things, probably. Anyways, hopefully we can continue this on a monthly basis. I'm hoping to keep doing this. I love doing this because we get to put together some albums that we love that the other group members probably don't know or aren't as familiar with, and we kind of discover new albums and we get to talk about it, which is fun. I got my sister here, Abby. Yeah, the weather's horrible. We got lots of snow. It's just horrible. It's a blizzard. It's all blizzard here in my.
It was even snowing here for today.
Yeah, I saw pictures. Like I said, Mike from Did You See That showed me a picture, and there's quite a bit of snow there at the time. But yeah, I'm glad you don't work. I wish I didn't work either. I unfortunately have to work tonight, so I'm kind of curious how I'm going to get to work. Yeah, right. Yeah, my power's still on. That's the good thing. I was worried about the power going out because it was some freezing rain last night. And now I'm just worried about getting to work, to be honest, but we'll see what happens. I'm off the next 2 days, so it's like if I can survive tonight, if I get to work and back tonight, I can then the snow will stop by tomorrow morning, and then hopefully, I can get out and shovel some snow or something. But anyways, yeah, so let's get to our four albums. Well, I can't avoid a hill because I live at the bottom of the hill. So my first step is trying to get up the hill that I'm on. If I can get past that hill that I'm on, then I'm okay. But there's a possibility my car won't be able to get up the hill that my house is on. So we'll see. So I thought we'd start with Nick's choice. Nick at Townsend 505. He chose for the group the album "In Case You're in Love" by Sonny and Cher.
Mm-hmm.
Adam, you want to talk about the album first?
Yeah, but it was the first Sonny and Cher album I've ever heard. I've only heard a couple of their songs going into it, so I was going into it not knowing any of the songs from it. But should I give my thoughts on the track list as well?
Yeah, go ahead.
So it starts off with The Beat Goes On, which I think is a really good album opener. And then you got Groovy Kind of Love, which I thought Phil Collins originally sang it. I didn't realize it was a cover song. And Cindy
Yeah,
Sherman did it as well. I don't think I've heard the original version of this song, but
the
yeah, I
Mind
found it really
Benders.
interesting.
Yeah.
And then you got the song You Baby, which I believe the Man and the Papas did that one as well.
Yeah, I saw that. They did it too.
And then you got the song Monday, which I think is a very underrated song. Then you got the song Love Don't Come, which I think is really good. And the song Podunk, which is my least favorite song on the album.
Oh my
I
gosh.
found it a pretty wacky song.
Oh man, it was so bad. It's such a bad song.
I found it quite funny, but funny for the wrong reasons.
It's supposed to be funny, but oh my gosh, it's
Yeah,
cringe.
I thought it was a terrible song. And side two, you've got Little Now, which I think is really good. We'll See the Sunshine, which is another underrated song on the album. And then you got the song Misty Roses, which I think is really good. Not one of my favorite songs on the album, but I definitely prefer it to Podunk.
Yeah.
And then you got the song Stand By Me, of course, a Benny King song. And I think they do a really good version of it. And then you got the song Living For You, which are, and Cheryl's Going Home, which are two really good songs to end this album off. But yeah, I think it's a really strong album. I enjoyed it a lot more than I was expecting to. And I'm going to give it a 9.25
Oh,
out
nice.
of 10.
Wow.
I'll get to my top three tracks. So my number three, these are all. I think my number one's the only original song on the album.
Yeah.
But my number three, Stand By Me.
Yeah.
Number two, We'll Sing the Sunshine. And my favorite is the song Monday.
Okay, that's good. I like that. Yeah, you'll see where I think about that. Nick says him and Bryer are gonna go live at 9:30 tonight, I guess. So
Like to do the exchange tonight, those two.
So they'll do it the same day as us. We'll just do it in the afternoon, and they'll do it. I mean, afternoon for me. It's evening for you. I know.
Yeah.
In America, it's like afternoon, but they'll do it tonight as well. So check out their reviews on it. Yeah, this is interesting. He says "You Baby" is different than "You Baby" than the Mamas and Papas. So they're two different songs, which I didn't realize. But they're both called "You Baby." Like, what are the chances on that? The one Sonny and Cher does is the one the Love and Spoonful goes or does. Ooh. Okay, so Love and Spoonful. So this is a cover of Love and Spoonful. I see. I don't remember. I've heard Love and Spoonful too, so I'm forgetting their version. Maybe it's not on an album. I don't know. And Nick's maybe told me this before, and I've forgotten. That's what I thought too, because I thought, oh, and Moms and Papas has a "You Baby" as well, but I forgot what theirs is. There must be different. This is the "You Baby" I think of when I hear "You Baby." Is this Sonny and Cher version of the song, anyways? But yeah, I'll get to my opinion on this album. Yeah, this is their third album, by the way. I've listened to their first album. First album I thought was pretty bad. I didn't think, and mostly the problem is Sonny Bono. Sonny Bono is a terrible singer overall. Cher is a great singer. Like I could just hear her if she just sang a lot of these songs, I would be a bigger fan, I think, for the most part. Sonny is okay at times. At times when he sings with Cher, the songs do work very well. So I'm not saying he's a total loss, but I need less Bono and more Cher on songs. That's what I found out. But the first album,
I think it sounds better when they both sing together.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, there's some good duets actually on here, and their biggest song, of course, is "I Got You, Babe," which is a great song, and Sonny sounds good on that, and that's on their first album. That's their biggest hit, of course, of all time. Yeah, so I think this is a much better album. The first album, I can't remember if I've heard the second album yet. I don't remember, but I can say this album definitely is a huge step up from that first album, even though the first album has their biggest hit on it. from what I did a little research on the album, it didn't really chart like particularly great. Like I think it charted something like 47 or something on the charts. I didn't see anything big on that. Little Man was their first single, which I was kind of surprised because actually I'm not a fan of Little Man. I don't know.
Oh, you weren't a fan of that one?
No, it's one of my least favorite songs on it. I think it's just the style of song, the style of the song I didn't like. I don't know. The instrumentation, I don't know. It was just different. But it was it wasn't a hit or anything, but actually did well in some European countries. I saw that it hit #1 in some countries, but in England and America, it didn't hit real huge. But their second single was "Living for You," which I thought was interesting. Another song I don't think about as much. It's a good song on the album, and that one did okay, I think. And then the third single is the big hit, which is "The Beat Goes On." And to me, "The Beat Goes On" is the most memorable song on the album. I mean, I would say it's their second most well known song. When you think of Sonny and Cher, it's definitely "I Got You, Babe" is definitely the song. It's going to be the #1 song you're going to think of. But "The Beat Goes On" was a pretty big radio hit as well, and probably the second most played song that they have. And that reached #6 in the chart, so that did pretty good. Which to me is crazy. That should have been the first single for sure, to me, because that's like their second biggest hit probably they've ever had. And yeah, it's a good opener to the album, of course. They open with their probably strongest song in a sense. Yeah, "The beat goes on. Ding, ding, ding." Oh, it's great. "The beat goes on." Cher's amazing, and Sonny sounds pretty good on the song too. I think he does a pretty good job too. So it's one of those where the duet really works. The horns are great. I love the horns section in this song. Yeah, big hit for a reason. Yeah, "Groovy Kind of Love." I love that song. The Mindbenders version is really good. Phil Collins is my favorite version because he makes it a really slow love ballad. But I like the other versions as well. And this was a good version of "Groovy Kind of Love." Again, Cher sounded really good on this. Sonny didn't sound as good, but Cher is definitely the highlight. "You Baby." Oh my gosh, this song is really good as well. Like I really like "You Baby." To me, this should have been a big hit of theirs. I don't know if it was on the radio or anything, but again, Cher just killing on the vocals. The melody is overall good, but I love that chorus. That chorus is so good. The "You Baby, You Baby." Oh, it was so good. Their voices actually sound really good together on that. Super catchy chorus. And then "I'm With You on Monday." Monday is such a good song. I really liked Monday. I thought it was a great melody overall. And I love that. Again, I love that kind of somewhat chorus of it is like them just going do, 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 do. And they're just doing that. Do, 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 do. Oh, it sounds great. Like their two voices together. Oh, really great. I love the overall melody there and the instrumentation and everything. And I think Sonny sounds actually really good. I like the song because Cher will sing a little bit, and then Sonny will sing a little bit. It's like they split the verses, like half of it's Cher will sing and half Sonny will sing, and they both sounded really good, I thought. In fact, I would say it's Sonny's best vocal work is on Monday. Um, yeah, Love Don't Care. The Love Don't Come, I didn't care for too much. Podunk is, oh my God, that's such an awful song. That's like one of the worst songs I've ever heard. Because and to me, it's like, it sounds like them when they did like the Sonny and Cher show, where they're just like joking around and they're doing jokes and it doesn't, I think it doesn't work as well as a song on an album.
I've been feeling that Nick is either going to have it as his least favorite or his favorite song on the album. Is either going to really like it or really hate it.
Podunk is hardcore.
Oh, I'm expecting the trash can then.
You'll get the trash can out for that one. I hope so. Oh my gosh, it's like you have to listen to the song to believe it. It's just so bad. It's like they're doing this vaudeville shtick, whatever, and they're telling jokes. And they're like, "Hey, what do you call a something something? A sourpuss or something like that?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, these jokes don't work at all on a song. Like, this is not your show, Sonny and Cher. This is an album of studio album of soundtracks." And it's just like, what a goofy song. they put on. It's so goofy. It's just funny when you listen to it and go, "Oh my gosh, why did they think this was a good idea?" Uh, uh, so if I'm being honest, I thought Adam would like it since he likes it. If anybody likes
I didn't mind it, but I wouldn't listen to it again. It was definitely a one-time thing.
I would say Adam is the most positive person in the group, and yeah, even he doesn't like it.
Yeah, I didn't care for it.
It's not a good song.
A couple of the jokes worked, but most of them I just cringed.
It's cringe.
to listen to.
So cringy. You're just listening, going, "Oh my god, what are they doing?" I can't believe they put this song out. Yeah, it's by far the worst thing I've heard from them, anyways. Yeah. So then, Lil Man, again, I don't know. I wasn't a fan of this. I didn't like the horns on it. This overall style, I don't know. It's like a boom, 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 boom. It was like this. I don't know. I didn't care for it, but it was like one of the bigger songs on the album. We'll Sing the Sunshine, I thought was really good. Again, Cher sang great on it. Really good melody overall. I guess this was also a cover song I wasn't aware of. Yeah, Misty Rogers, didn't care for it because it was a Sunny Bono song. And so I was like, oh no, not Sunny. Like, I need Cher, not Sunny. So it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. Stand By Me, I thought was great. Not as good as Benny King is definitely going to be always the greatest version of that song. But Cher sang the heck out of that song, I think, and did a really good job. Cher is such a good singer. I think she definitely is obviously the MVP of the album. The highlight of the album is hearing her sing, and she does such a good job. Yeah, Living for You, another really good song. I thought Cher did a good original. Cher did a really good job on that one. And then closing with Cheryl's Going Home by Bono. Again, I'm not crazy about Bono's, singing. So it was not the greatest closer, but overall, I thought it was a good pop album. Some really good songs here, some good cover songs as well, and very catchy overall. And I'm giving it 8.5 out of 10. Not as high as you, but I still thought it was a solid album, even with some of the bad stuff in here. There's a lot of good stuff, and like I said, some really good original stuff as well. But for me, yeah, if I go to my top three, I would say number 3, You Baby. Number 2, The Beat Goes On. And number 1 for me is Monday, I think, which is what you said.
Yeah.
And so I thought that's cool. I think we both agree on that one. I thought that was such an underrated song, or such a hidden gem song on the album. I thought this was one of their best songs I've heard. That should be talked about more, I think, is Monday. It was really good. Let's see, shares the Mahomes of the duo. Sonny's Aaron Rodgers. Oh, man. Yeah. Let's see. The Moms of Papa's You Baby is a cover on the Turtles. Okay, so they both covered other bands during the 60s. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, so we both are pretty positive on that one, in case you're in love. So that's definitely one we both would say is worth checking out.
Yeah.
From Cher. I think Sonny and Cher, you probably don't think of their albums at all. You think of them as more as their singles. They had some hit singles, and their albums aren't talked about enough. But I think that one's actually pretty good. All right, let's go to 180 by Ambrosia. This is an album that Bryer from Breyer's Music Showcase, it was his choice for the group to listen to from 1980. And so, Adam, what were your thoughts on this album?
Well, I never heard of this band before going into it. So it was a completely new band for me. And I thought this was a really strong album of theirs. Yeah, I think overall it's just a really excellent rock album. I think it starts really great with the song Ready, and then Shape My Men, one of my favourite songs on the album. Then you got, I struggle to pronounce this one, Kamikaze. Yeah, which I think is really good. You're the Only Woman, You and I think it's an excellent song as well. Rock in the Hard Place. Yeah, I think it's another really solid song on the album. I like side 2. I'd probably say I like side 2 just as much as the first side. I found it a pretty consistent album. So you've got Living on My Own, Crying in the Rain, No Big Deal, which was probably my least favorite song on the album, but I still really liked it. It's definitely better than Podunk.
It's better than Podunk.
The album ends with "Biggest Part of Me," which I think is a really excellent album closer. And I'll get to my top 3 songs on the album. My number 3, "You're the Only Woman, You and I." Number 2 is the album closer, "Biggest Part of Me." And my favourite is the second track on the album, "The Shape I'm In."
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to give this the same rating as the Sonny and Cher album, which is 9.25 out of 10.
All right. Great. Yeah, we both came pretty positive on these albums. See, the name 180 is play on the fact the band did a 180 on their sound. They started as a progressive rock band. Okay. Yeah, see, I'm glad Bryer said that because, again, if Bryer, the thing is, if Bryer and Nick were here, they could talk a little bit more because they presented the albums, so they have probably more information than we do. So I'm glad Bryer said something because I'm kind of curious about the background. I did read something about that. I didn't know they're a progressive rock band, but I did read something like 180 was, a play on, they did a 180. What they did 180 from, I didn't know, but good Bryer said it was a progressive rock band. Well, this, I would say, is a soft rock album. It was mostly soft rock. It's some would call it maybe adult contemporary or something, but I would say it's a really good soft rock album with some maybe pop elements to it. It's an interesting album because I've never heard of Ambrosia or heard any of their albums. This is their 4th album, so the first 3 I'm guessing were more progressive rock, and I wonder if this is, maybe Bryer can say something. I'm guessing this is maybe one of their biggest albums, or maybe this was bigger than their first 3 because I don't know much about the first 3 albums. I'm curious how their sound changed though, because this is the only thing I know, so I don't know how they sounded before this. Interesting. It did pretty good. It was 25 in the charts. Definitely the biggest part of me was their big hit on here, which I'm pretty sure I've heard that on the radio. I just didn't know it was Ambrosia when I heard it on the radio. But it went number 3 in the charts, so it did very well. And then "You're the Only Woman" was the other hit on here, which went number 13. To me, definitely biggest part of me and "You're the Only Woman" are probably the 2 big hits on here. That if you heard anything from Ambrosia, you probably heard these 2 songs. They're probably most played out of anything on here, or the only things played out of here. They also got 3 Grammy nominations for his album, and was nominated for Best Pop Vocal Group. So it did well at the Grammy. I mean, got nominated. So that's what makes me think this is probably one of their big albums, if I'm making a guess. Bryer brought this album. He talked about this album on his channel because he bought some Ambrosia CDs or something, and he played like a song from one from this album, and I thought, wow, it was like one of their more of their softer songs. And I thought, man, the harmonies are so good. Man, I want to hear an Ambrosia album. So then when we were doing this album exchange, and Bryer said, I can do an Ambrosia album, I said, yeah, let's listen to an Ambrosia album because I'm kind of curious how their album sounds, because I heard one song and I thought the song was really good. So I was like, I want to get more into Ambrosia. I don't know what their albums sound like necessarily, but if they have anything like that, like I want to hear more of their harmonies and stuff. So so 180 brought to us, and I'm with you. Like "Ready" was, oh my gosh, that was such a good opener. It was a very upbeat song. I think the lead singer is really good. Like I really like the lead singer's voice on this album. It was a catchy song to begin with. So "Ready," really good catchy song to start the album. And then "Shape I'm In," I agree, another really good song. It's super catchy, great singing. I think the backing vocals are really good on the song as well. So first 2 songs I'm really into. Third song, "Kamikaze," I didn't care for that much. I don't know, I wasn't into that one nearly as much. And then "You're the Only Woman, You and I," really great song. Definitely one of my favorites. And to me it was a little bit different than the first 2. The first 2 songs were a little more upbeat, I think. And then you get to "You're the Only Woman," and it's a little more slower down, a little more about the harmonies, a little less about the guitar playing, and more about concentrating more on this like almost pop ballad kind of harmonies, and the chorus super catchy, and overall just a really great soft kind of song. And I wish the whole album was more like this song in a sense. I think because this is definitely my favorite style that they do is when they do like this. And then, of course, I'll get to the biggest part of me as well. Rock and Hard Place, I didn't care for too much. Living My Own, I thought was pretty good. There's some really good harmonies on that song. Cry in the Rain, I thought it was more rocking song. I think maybe the more rocking song on the album, even though they're not hard rock by any. Like I said, they're more soft rock, but a little more guitar on that one. I thought that was pretty good as well. Some good harmonies on there. No Big Deal was my least favorite song, and you said that too. And I don't know. I kind of felt the same way. I don't know why I wasn't into that song. And then, yeah, to me, the best song on the album is that Closer is so good. Oh my gosh, biggest part of me. Definitely a song I've heard on the radio, but the harmonies are so good. I'm like, man, I need more harmonies in these. Like I need the band to do more songs like this, more of these more ballad type harmonies are so good. That's what really got me into, wanting to listen to Ambrosia is their harmonies and everything. And this is more poppy, I think, than their other songs, I would say. Super catchy, great horn section. Love the beginning. Love that. Love the piano. Love also the piano. The keyboard playing was also a really good album. I love the beginning with the keyboard on this. Such a good intro to the song. And then, yeah, you get to that. You're the biggest part of me. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, beautiful. Love it. Yeah, great chorus to it. Yeah. So it's funny to me. I'm wondering if the other albums are like that, because I prefer like the biggest part of me and You're the Only Woman, that style. Like I'm like, man, I want more of that. Like the other stuff was good, but man, that stuff is really great. Like I love to hear more of them doing these more softer ballad type stuff. But it makes me wonder if they're more of a rock band though, and they want to do more rocking stuff, and and all that. And again, progressive rock usually doesn't sell as well as soft rock. So my guess is that's why they went more maybe in a soft rock route, because they knew it'd sell more, it'd be more commercial friendly. You're gonna get more radio hits off of it, all that. And someone might say that's selling out, but to me, it's like, that's good music. I'm all for making catchy pop music. That's just me on that. Let's see what Bryer has to say here. The first two albums were progressive rock. The third album was transitioning to more pop. Here it's full soft rock. Okay. I might need to listen to the third album as well. We got Joe here.
Joseph.
Yeah. Just wanted to quickly pop in and say Happy New Year. Yes. Happy New Year, Joe. And then we got Joe's brother, Mike.
Mike here as well.
The Zebros, as I call them, Joe and
The
Mike.
Zebros.
Digging the beard, I'd say to grow it. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to a little bit. I feel like it's not filling out as much as I'd like, but we'll see. Yeah, Ray says, glad you both enjoyed the album. You might like the third album. Okay. How's their other big hit, How Much I Feel? Yes, that's a great song. That's probably the song I heard, and I was like, man, that's such a good song. That's another How Much I Feel. Oh, it's a great song. Yeah, so I need to listen to the third one for sure. But yeah, getting to this, my closing thoughts. Yeah, my top three songs. Number 3, I went with Ready. Though Shape I'm In is number 4, so I'd say Shape I'm In is like right outside my top 3. It's like number 4 on the list. But Ready was a great opener. Then 2, You're the Only Woman. And number 1, biggest part of me, is my favorite song on the album. And I'm giving this another 8.5. Same as the other album, but I feel like this score could go up if I heard this album more. I can see it kind of growing on me a little more, and it could get up to 9 possibly. We'll see. But overall, yeah, good album, Bryer. I enjoyed it. Good choice.
Yeah.
How's your New Year's going? Okay, except for all the snow. It's making me worried right now, but
Yeah, it's going all right for me as well. Just taking it easy.
take it easy.
Yeah.
All right, so that's Nick and Brier's choices. So then for our next choice, we'll go with one that we picked. And we're going to next talk about your choice, Adam. I guess you can introduce your choice.
Well, we're going to go all the way back to the early 70s for this album. 1973. I've got the album behind me. It's Roger Daltrey's self-titled debut album. Which I find it's a shame it's not on Spotify. a couple of the singles are on Spotify, but not the whole album, which I find quite weird. But I decided to go ahead and check out his debut album, as I heard all the Who albums, and I heard the one-off album that Keith Moon did, and then I decided to check out the debut for all the other members of the Who. But this was my favourite of their debut albums. I think this is a very underrated album. I don't think enough people really talk about this one.
No, not at all.
So yeah, the first track is "What Was One Man Band," which I think is an excellent song to begin this album with. Then you got "The Way of the World," which I think's another really good song. You Are Yourself," which is one of my favorite songs on the album. But my top three songs on the album, they sort of change.
Yeah,
They always change order, but I've got the same three favorites. It's just every time I listen to the album, they go in a different order, I feel. Then you got the song "Thinking," and then the first side ends with "You and Me." Both really excellent songs. I think the second side, I might say is just as good as the first side. Maybe not quite as good because I'm not the biggest fan of it being a one-man band reprise.
I know, reprise.
I don't think there was need for that. But you got the songs "It's a Hard Life," "Giving It All Away." I mean, those two were the singles on Spotify. I can see why they were singles. They're both brilliant songs. Then you got "The Story So Far," when the music stops, and the song "Reasons." But I like in the song when the music stops, the music actually does stop several times in the song, which I find quite interesting. But it's not a very long album either. It's only, I think it's like 35 minutes long. It's not a very long album to get through. And I'm going to give it a 9.75.
Oh, nice.
I think if it weren't for that reprise, it would be the top 50 album for me.
Yeah.
But my top three songs, which change on a daily basis. So my number 3 at the moment is "Giving It All Away." My number 2 is "You Are Yourself." And my number 1, "It's a Hard Life."
Okay.
Mainly for Roger Daltrey's vocals. I think he does fantastic vocals all over this album. And yeah, he didn't even write any of the songs. David Courtney and Leo Sayer wrote the songs, but
Okay.
they feel like Roger Daltrey songs with the way he sings them.
Yeah, I figured. I know he doesn't do as much writing. Pete Townsend does most of the writing on the Who, but
I think he wrote a few songs that was in the Who.
yeah,
I can't think of any right now though.
yeah. So do you have this on an album or
Do I have what on the album?
the Daughtry? Do you have that on vinyl or am I just?
Yeah, I've got it behind me on vinyl.
Wow. Okay. I wonder how. Is that hard to find?
Oh, I just found it at the record store. Couldn't believe I found it. I thought it'd be too obscure to find in a record store. But I just saw it.
Well,
I had to get it.
That's a really nice get. I don't know if Nick has that album or not. He has a lot of these kind of albums because he loves the Who. Yeah, I gave 8.5 on both albums so far.
I gave 9.25
and
both albums.
Nick gives 19. Oh, so he owns the album as well. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I figured Nick might own that album. Find the Daughtry. Yeah. Bryer tries to find the CD.
I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't get that on CD.
Yeah, Bryer always tries to find the physical copy whenever we do this album exchange. And sometimes, so far, Nick and Bryer, sometimes Nick and Adam sometimes will come up with an album that's hard to find. Most of my albums are usually pretty easy to find because I own them myself, so they're not too bad. Usually you can get them pretty easy on Amazon or something. But yeah. Yeah, I've given 8.5s and Adam's given 9.25s on the first two albums, so we've been consistent so far. Joe says, definitely keep the beard growing. It looks badass. I want to see Adam with a mustache.
That you're gonna have to imagine that you did yourself, Joseph. I'm not doing that.
Can you grow facial hair, Adam?
I don't want to grow it that far. So,
Yeah. All right. I talked about Daltrey. Yeah, this was an interesting because I wasn't really aware of all these solo albums that the Who did. That was kind of a new thing to me because it's none of their solo albums are talked about at all. As far as I know, I don't know if any of their solo albums did anything as far as like charting or hit songs. Like, I mean, none of these are hit songs, I would say, or anything I've ever heard of, like on this album. So yeah, that was a new thing by me that Daughtry had a solo album, and this is also during like the Who are still going on pretty strong at this point.
yeah, it was just after Quadrophenia.
I was gonna say yeah, okay. I was gonna say
Around that time.
yeah. So I mean, they already did Who's Next, which is a huge album from them. Quadrophenia was one of their albums are really well reviewed, I guess. And so yeah, and they still haven't done like Who by Numbers or Who Are You are coming up, I'm guessing. And so I was like, yeah, this is like right in the middle of like them making some of their best albums, in my opinion. And so that was weird that to me that he came out with a solo album like right in the middle of it, and all that. And this is such a different album than what you'd expect out of member of the Who as a rock band, for fairly heavy rock band at this point, and mostly known now for their rock operas are kind of what they're known for since Tommy. And this album to me was like a piano ballad album. When you say it's like every song was like a piano ballad almost. I was
very
really
different to what he's done with the Who.
Yeah, it was very different than what I was expecting out of Daltrey. Like I was expecting a little more rock and roll out of him. And all that, but yeah, every song was like a piano song, had a piano and some orchestra maybe, and I was like, holy cow! Like every song, like he didn't change it up really at all. It's just like every song was like a ballad or something, which I thought was interesting.
Maybe that's why I like it so much. It's because every song is like a ballad.
Yeah, if you like ballads, like this is definitely a good album for you. That's kind of what it's mostly of. Daltrey solo album, yeah, you should listen to it. Unfortunately, you can't find it on Spotify, so you have to go on YouTube to find like the album, which is kind of sucks because to me it's easier to listen to stuff on Spotify than have to look it up on YouTube. So, that kind of sucks in that way. I don't know why it's on YouTube, and I don't know if this album. I've never heard anybody talk about this album, so I don't know. This album, did it just disappear? When it came out, evidently it's probably really hard to find on if he made a CD and Bryer has a CD. I don't know, because sometimes more obscure albums are harder. They didn't make on CD sometimes, but it's on vinyl, I guess, if you can find it. But yeah, One Man Band I thought was pretty good. I like his vocals on that. The One Man Band, like how he sings that.
Yeah, it's very catchy, that one.
Yeah, it's definitely more. Yeah, definitely one of the more upbeat, catchy songs I think on the album, which I liked. It was overall pretty good. The Way of the World, yeah. Again, I don't know if I'll say too much about these songs because they're all kind of similar. Because, like I said, they're all kind of piano ballads, and so like The Way of the World I thought was really good. You Are Yourself I thought was really great. Like I really like that song. I love the orchestra behind it. Thinking I thought was a solid song. It's more acoustic guitar on that one. You and Me, again, good piano ballad with an orchestra behind it. It's Hard Life, same thing. And yeah, Given All the Way is pretty good. I would say it's towards the end of the album, I kind of just felt like the songs were sounding kind of the same though. That was my only problem with the album was like, I felt like, man, I wish he would have changed it up a little bit and like put in a more upbeat pop song or a rocker in there. But every song kind of felt the same. It was just one piano ballad after piano ballad after piano ballad, and they're all solid. Like, but I would say I wasn't totally in love with like one song from the album, like I was on the other albums that we have in their album exchange. There's like not one song that I think, oh, this is the song I'm gonna put on my playlist and listen to it. But it was a pretty solid album overall. I mean, it's pretty consistent. Like I said, Daughtry sings well. Like, he has a good singing voice, and I think he sings well on it. And like I said, yeah, there's nothing real bad on the album. It's all consistently pretty good on it. I would say I was getting a little bored towards the end just because it was just seemed like one more piano ballad after another. And so I'm not ranking it quite as high as you are. I'm putting it as an 8 out of 10. Still a solid album, I think. I think it's worth trying to listen to. And definitely not what you expect out of a member of The Who. But yeah, interesting album to hear from Roger Daltrey. And it's an overall, again, if you like piano ballads, you get a lot of good piano ballads here. And Daughtry sings well. He's a good singer. I like his voice. So it's not a bad album. I definitely, this would be, if I had it on vinyl, that'd be interesting, I think, to listen to it, instead of having to go on YouTube and try to listen to it. Or on Spotify. I'd love to be on Spotify, because then I can just put it in my pocket and just put it on Spotify while I'm doing things, and it'd be a lot easier. But Bryer says he did find it on CD, so so it is available on CD. I'm curious who's heard this album, Daltrey, and has the physical copy of it. But yeah, going to my top 3, I'm going with number 3, Giving It All Away. Number 2, You and Me. And then number 1, You Are Yourself, I thought was definitely the best song on here. I thought that was really good. Definitely the highlight on the album for me. Like I said, I don't know that any of these were hit songs, but like You and Yourself could have been a hit song to me, in my opinion. Which you had number 2, I think, on your list, so you liked it as well as
yeah. It was my favorite when I first heard the album.
Okay. So I think we both can agree that was definitely one of the best songs on there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the 4th album is the album that I presented to the group, and that is The Beautiful Letdown by Switchfoot, which came out 2003. So I definitely have the more current album.
I've got the CD somewhere. You gave it to me.
I bought the CD for Adam, so I knew he had it. And that was a year or two ago when I bought it for you, probably, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we bought each other some CDs at least a year ago or more. That was one I bought you because obviously I love this album. That's why I brought it to the group. That's why I bought it for you, because I was hoping that you would like it as well as I did, because this is one of those albums where I'm like, if you haven't heard it, man, people need to listen to this album. It is so good and probably not known as much today if you weren't around at the time. And the other thing is, this is a Christian rock group, Switchfoot. So you might not, if you're not into Christian rock, you might not be as familiar with Switchfoot or aware of the album as maybe I was at the time, because 2003, and I picked this album because I remember the first time I listened to it and it blew me away. And I can kind of tell the story of because 2003, I was a freshman in college. And I went to a Christian college my freshman year. I only went there 1 year. And it was a college called Grace University. And it was in Omaha, Nebraska, which is about 5 hours from where I live, where I used to live anyways. It was about a 5-hour drive. So it was a great college. Really made some good friends there. Learned a lot. Anyways, and I was in the dorm rooms, of course, and hang out with the other guys in my dorm. Man, it was a lot of fun. And I remember my RA, who's like in charge of the hallway. I didn't have a car, of course, and at that time I didn't have any money. And so if I went anywhere, I'd have to get a ride with somebody. And so I don't know where we were going, but I was in the car, I believe my RA and some other guys, and I was in the back seat. And I remember people talking about this album, The Beautiful Letdown by Switchfoot. Because like I said, they're a Christian rock band. It's considered a Christian rock album. Though I would say you can also call it an alternative rock album. And I would say, don't let Christian rock, detail you from listening to the album, or you go, oh, I'm not a Christian, I don't want to listen to it. You love it, I think, if you're a Christian or not a Christian, because it doesn't really talk about worshiping God in any of the songs. It's not really a evangelistic rock or Christian album. Like some Christian albums are definitely more about, you know, worshiping God and stuff like that, which is great too. But this is more of a positive album, just being positive about life and stuff like that, and encouragement and stuff like that. So it's definitely more of a that kind of an album. But anyways, but still they're considered Christian rock. And that's why, of course, I was going to Christian school, so obviously it makes sense that everybody was listening to Christian rock that I was with, anyways. And I wasn't familiar with Switchfoot or this album, and this album just came out, evidently. And I remember someone putting the CD in and saying, "Oh, this new Switchfoot album is really good," and he put this CD in. I'm like, "Oh, okay, never heard of this." First song, "Meant to Live." Oh my gosh, when you hear those guitar riff at the beginning.
It's one of the best guitar riffs to start an album on.
Is one of the most amazing guitar riffs I've ever heard in my life. I don't care who you are. Like, I can't imagine you could not love that guitar riff at the beginning. If you like rock music, that is one. Yeah, it's up there as one of the greatest like beginnings to a song I've ever heard. When those guitars hit you, you're like, what the heck? Like, this is amazing. Like, it's one of the most amazing sounds I've ever heard. I remember being in the backseat of this car and hearing this "Meant to Live" and going, what is this? Like I need to hear more of this. Like, what is this band? Like, it really floored me. Like, I can still remember that feeling of first hearing that first song and just being like, what? I never heard anything like this. And yeah, and then it keeps going, and every song I was like, this song is amazing. Like, I loved every song on this album, and I was just, yeah, and that's why I picked it here, because I was like, that was one of the best first listens to an album I've ever had in my life, where I just totally fell in love with the album on the first listen. It was like, this is one of the greatest rock albums I've ever heard. And listening to it even today, when I listen to this again, I still think this is one of the greatest rock albums. So I'm like, if you're a Christian or not a Christian, still listen to this album. You'll still enjoy it because it's a great rock album. The guitars, riffs throughout the album are amazing. Production-wise, is great. Like, the album sounds great. Like, all the musical instruments sound great. It's a rocking album, like I said. Vocally, great. Love the vocals on the album. Very catchy music. Very catchy rock, alternative rock music, I would say. But yeah, I can't say enough about this. This is pretty high on my top 100 albums list. I don't think I've talked about it yet on my list, but it's in my top 30 at least, if I remember right. Anyways, but yeah, so going through the album though, yeah, "Meant to Live." I love that song because that riff at the beginning and that chorus, "We were meant to live for so much more." It's such a really good, like, yeah, like I said, very upbeat, encouragement song, a very, very, you know, uplifting song, you know, about, you know, living your life, you know, the best that you can. And great, some good harmonies, in fact, as well. And then your second song, "This Is Your Life," to me, oh, what another great song, another hit song for them. I should say this is one of the best-selling albums in the Christian charts as well. It's considered, like, amongst Christians, it's considered one of the greatest albums of all time. And another thing is that even these songs are even played on regular radio. This is one of the great crossover albums where not only was it huge on the Christian charts, I mean, in fact, it broke the record at the time. It was number one on the Christian charts for 38 weeks in a row, which was a record. But it also was a number 16 on the regular charts. So it did very, very well on the regular charts as well. Like I said, and this is their fourth album as well, by the way. And like I said, there's a award show for Christian music called the Dove Awards, and it won a bunch of awards for the Dove Awards, and it had 5 number one singles on the Christian charts. So I mean, 5 of their songs went number one. That's how huge this album was. But anyways, "This Is Your Life," another song that is just so uplifting, so, you know, positive, you know. And I love how it starts off very soft, and then you get to that chorus, and it really, "This is your life. Are you who you want to be?" Oh my gosh. He belts out that chorus. It is so good. So I love how it starts soft and then, and then crescendos and gets louder at the chorus. Another amazing chorus there. Yeah, "More Than Fine," another amazing song. And the "Ammunition," great. "Dare You to Move," another absolutely fantastic song on here. Love the "Dare You to Move." dare you to. Again, very uplifting, saying, just don't be, just don't be content with what your life is. Try to be more, try to do more. So I love the overall messages of these songs are so good. But yeah, and I can't, like I said, every song is, I think, absolutely excellent. The Beautiful Letdown, title song, great. Gone, I love that. Gone, bump a bump bum, gone. Very catchy. Yeah, On Fire, Adding to the Noise, and then 24. All amazing songs. This is just a perfect album. To me, this is a perfect rock album where I can listen to the whole album, never get tired of it, never skip any of the songs. Every song hits for me. So obviously you can tell this is a 10 out of 10 album for me. It's one of my favorite all-time albums. And it's one that I hope more people like. I want to bring it to this album change, so I want more people to listen to it. And because some people don't listen to newer music. And this is, I said, this is 2003. This is already, over 20 years old. This is 22 years old. And this is still considered kind of newer music because most people we talk to don't listen to anything past the 80s. It's like once you get to 1990, people don't listen to music anymore. Amongst the people I talk to in the YouTube community, the vinyl community. And I want to say, gosh, there's some good music even past the 2000s that you should listen to. And this is one of those albums. I'm like, man, don't give up on music, newer music, even music that's only like 20 years old, whatever. There's some really good stuff out there. And so, yeah, I'm hoping you three, of course, I'm hoping you three liked it. And I'm hoping other people listen to this and like it as much as I did. Or maybe not as much as me, but at least will like it and go, wow, that's some good rock music. Anyways, but yeah, my top three, like I said, Dare You to Move. My top three, man, these three songs are so good. Dare You to Move. Number two, I went This Is Your Life. And number one, Meant to Live. Meant to Live is just one of the greatest rock songs I've ever heard, with one of the greatest rock riffs. It never gets tiring hearing that riff at the beginning and going, wow, that's some good rock music. And I think anybody listening to that would like it. I can't imagine anybody listening to that song and not liking it. It's just so good of an opener. Anyways, but yeah, so that's enough of me talking about how much I love this album. Let's get to you, Adam. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, well, I think it is a fantastic rock album. And yeah, I think the first track is a brilliant way of opening the album. It's one of the best tracks on the album. I think it follows up with This Is Your Life, which I think is even better than Meant to Live. Then you got More Than Fire, which I think is really good. Ammunition, I think is great. Dare You to Move, another standout song on the album. I mean, my top three songs on the album are all from the first half of it. Then you got the song Redemption, the Beautiful Letdown, the title track, Gone, On Fire, which is another big standout to me, and The Noise, another big standout, is the song 24. 24 and On Fire just missed out on the top three. But my number three is Meant to Live, number two is Dare You to Move, and then one is This Is Your Life.
This Is Your Life, okay.
We've got the same three favorites, just in a different order. Yeah.
Yeah, to me, those are definitely the three standouts. The whole album's good, but those three, oh my gosh.
I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10.
Good score.
Yeah.
That's good. Glad to hear you like the album.
Yeah, it was great recommendation from you.
That's good. Yeah, I hope everybody liked that one. People weren't as crazy about my last one. Except for you liked it as well. But yeah, of course, you probably listened. I bought this album for a while ago, so you probably listened to it a little while ago, and then you had to re-listen to it. But the other two members, I don't think I've ever listened to it, Bryer and Nick, until this point. Yeah, so it's an alternative rock album made by Christians. Yeah, basically. I would say that is true. Like I said, because there's no, there's no really mention of God necessarily in the songs. It's more of just a positive attitude, I would say. It was my take on it. If I ever did the album change, I'd pick Rush of Blood to the Head by Coldplay. Great album.
That's on my list. of albums to get through.
Maybe Adam will get to that one. Scott's trying some newer albums. Yeah, he's listening to Coldplay. He really likes Coldplay, which I like Coldplay, so that's a good band. Yeah, he's been listening to Nirvana. I'm not a big Nirvana fan, but that's more 90s, like grunge. And then Daniel Powder, which is interesting because he had like one big hit. I don't know much more than that, but yeah, that's good. I'm glad you're getting more into it. Bryer listened to some newer music too, and Nick, I'm getting him to listen to more newer music as well. Again, it's hard. I don't know why it's hard in the YouTube community to get people to listen to stuff outside of the 60s, 70s, 80s period. Especially older people. If I talk to people that are like in their 60s, they don't really want to try new music. But then for me, this is like Beautiful Letdown. I was in college when this came out, so I mean, I was just at the right time for this kind. So I was listening to this kind of music at the time. So that's why I still love the 90s and 2000s, because that's like when I was listening to current music growing up. So it was like my childhood, I guess. So anyways, but yeah, so those are the 4 albums we reviewed, and like I said, Nick is going to review those 4 albums on his channel with Bryer, so I'll be interested in hearing their viewpoints as well. And again, let's see, In Case You're in Love by Sonny and Cher, I gave an 8.5. Adam gave it a 9.25. 180 by Ambrosia, I gave an 8.5. Adam gave that a 9.25. Daltrey by Roger Daltrey, I gave an 8. Adam gave that a 9.75.
Yeah.
Then The Beautiful Letdown by Switchfoot, I gave it a 10, and Adam gave it a 9.5. So overall, really good scores on these 4 albums, which is nice to see. That, it's always nice when we can, share our love of music and other people can like it as well. So that's great to hear. But anyways, besides that, you got anything else to say, Adam?
Just thank you for having me on. Look forward to next album exchange.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think we all chose some pretty solid albums. They all got a 9 point something.
I know. Yeah. They all got 9.25s and above for you. That's amazing. For me, all 8 and above is still pretty solid, I think.
Looking forward to see what Bryer and Nick have to say on the albums.
Yeah. Do you have an album for the next one, or do you want to wait for that?
I'll probably wait to see what they also come up with.
Okay.
But I have a few ideas.
Okay, then we'll post it in the chat probably. Okay.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll do this again next month, and hopefully I had up to 7 viewers, so that's kind of nice. Happy to get more people viewing this, and hopefully everybody check these albums out again. All 4 albums I think are worth checking out anyway. So besides that, thank you to Adam for joining me on this snowy, cold day. For me and Adam, thank you a lot for watching our video and enjoying our thoughts anyways, and just hope you have a good day, and we'll talk to you later.